Hello, hello. Here we are. It's Friday, and I want to talk to you a little bit. Remember now, it's your day, right? It's your day when I come to you here in this community just to share a little something, right? Today, we want to talk a little bit about a very unusual topic, strife. Uh oh, strife. I want to talk a little bit about strife. I'm going to share some things that I've learned from reading. And I know that I am not the author on this. I'm going to enter different terrain here, but I'm just going to share with you and not remember when I come here, I come to share what I've learned. Now you can take whatever you want to take from it, or take nothing at all. So I'm just here sharing. But one of the reasons I want to talk about strife today, first of all, I got to make the disclaimer. I am this pollen has gotten to me. Okay, I want to just apologize for my voice. Nevertheless, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna talk about what I need to talk about. Okay, talk about strife. I have encountered a lot of folks in my own family as well as outside. This there is this element of strife, and I know that it can be challenging. All kinds of situation. Oh my goodness, all kinds of situation. And strife just creeps in. So let's talk a little bit about that today and how we can come up some ways that we can use to um, you know, eliminate it or work on it or prevent it or something. We're just going to talk a little bit about that. So, if we have not met before, my name is Yvette Garel, and I come to you in this community once per week. We just talk about anything that I've like encountered over a period of time, and just feel like I need to talk about that. I'm not the author and finisher of this particular, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, but I have lived long enough to know that this eats up a lot of folks. Strife eats out the core out of a lot of folks, especially in relationships, because we are all humans, right? We are touched by feelings and with the emotional. So we'll talk about it because there are a lot of things that some people don't like to talk about. But guess what? We need to talk about it because it is happening and it's like killing people slowly. It's like eating out the core and just like making people, no, we want to be happy people. We are made to be happy people. Enjoy this beautiful world. Enjoy the life that we are living, free, fresh air, which is free, and everything else that comes with just living. And yes, we work hard, we play hard, and we do all the things, but strife really shouldn't have a place in our hearts. And if it does, we want to find a way how to eliminate that. So, yes, this is Yvette, and I said the disclaimer is I have no authority in terms of qualified to speak on this subject matter. So when I give little, make suggestions or tell you what I've learned, for those persons who are qualified per se, and I have wear the hat of these well labeled profession, take it and run with it, or grab somebody, help somebody, right? I'm just here to share. Hopefully this will help. All right, so how is everybody doing? Oh, how is everybody doing? It's Friday. Yep, we know everybody want to kick back, relax, and all kinds of stuff is happening around us. Wherever you are in the world, wherever you are, there's something happening, something getting ready to happen. All kinds of stuff is happening, but we're thankful that we're still here. For those of us, whichever globe part of the globe you're on, and we just want to share, be in front of you for a little while, because my voice is really not 100%. The pollen has gotten me, and yeah, So, what I want to share with you, strife, and a lot of us hear the word strife, but we want to be clear about the meaning. Remember now, this is Yvette coming to you live here in this community. It's just me, right? Strife. Want to be clear what we're talking about, because a lot of times we throw words around and we don't give clarity to the meaning, so people understand in what context we are. When we talk about stuff, we want to make sure that we give meaning to what we're talking about. So strife, what is strife? Everybody, pretty much, a lot of us have been to done higher education, and you don't have to be a student of nothing to know what is strife. If you be able to identify strife in your immediate surroundings, at the workplace, in the community, strife, strife, strife. Okay, so it's a conflict. It's a conflict. It's a conflict, or it's sometimes it's a struggle. It's a disagreement, right, between people. Yeah, it's something that something maybe just touch the nerve and cause a little something to spin off, right? Well, for the biology folks and all that kind, the psychiatry folks, yeah, you can put in those words, but it is something. So you might be in a group and some disagreement, or somebody just said, yeah, and it causes strife, and strife, my friends, will just linger if we don't do anything about it, right? It will just linger because it hits home personally, like it affects your psyche. So you be like, you hold on to it. But there are a couple of suggestions here that I'm going to share with you that I've read, and pretty much I've experienced for myself. I have been in situations that there are a lot of strife, and there's malice, and then there is all kinds of things starting out of that strife because it's not handled well, and probably we don't even know how to deal with it. How do you deal with strife in your neck of the woods, in your situation, in your part of town, on the job, in the group that you're in your community, in your home? Strife, because if we don't deal with it, it stays there and it balloons up. It festers up, and it just stays there and festers up. Who knows when it's gonna pop? Who knows when it's gonna pop? So some conflict, right? Something you're struggling with, whether in your relationship, something, a disagreement. Yeah, we married people. Yeah, we get into some. We and me and my husband, we have disagreements. I'm sure that if you and your spouse or your partner, there are gonna be disagreements. There gotta be conflicts. Now, conflicts. When people hear about conflicts, they say, "Oh, it's all bad," but conflicts can be really good sometimes. Yes, conflicts have a place, right? Because remember, we are all individuals, and you have your opinion, I have mine. So sometimes it becomes conflictual. So if we go through that, and get an understanding, then yeah, we can resolve it. But so we don't have to have the strife. So it can be in a group, right? So it can manifest itself in all kinds of ways. You think about all the ways that strife manifests itself. Think about it. Oh my goodness. Hi, Gracie. Think about all the ways strife can manifest itself. And it gets ugly. It gets ugly. Lots of verbal arguments with some colorful words, right? Strife, physical altercations, right? Yeah, emotional tension. Oh my goodness, malice. I'm not talking to her. I'm not talking to him. No, I don't want. You know, and you cut them off. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, happened to me. I'm a product of all these things I'm telling you, because I grew up in a real world. Okay, I am not like I didn't grow up in a balloon, which I'm sealed off. No, I grew up in a real world. I see all that all the time. I've experienced it and I know how it feels, but you got to find a way to deal with it, right? Got to find a way to deal with it. So it shows up. He shows up with his ugly head and it can pop up any given time just by one word. Yeah, right. So but the emotional part of it is really, really raw. And that emotional tension that people experience all the time, it stays there and it builds into something else. So you can, this strife can arise, that I said, differences in opinion, right? Difference in opinion, difference in what I believe and you don't believe, and my values and my goals and that kind of stuff, what I'm interested in, and it can occur into any type of relationship. I don't care who you are, in professional relationship, personal relationship, it can happen just by some misunderstanding. All that, it can happen, right? Those things, the strife. But is strife a good thing? Mm. Is strife a good thing? I don't know. I'm gonna let you answer that. Is strife a good thing? Is that something that you want to deal with on a regular basis? Strife, right? So strife can be really harmful. It can impact our lives in a negative way, right? So and it involves, and a lot of times is when in close relationships. Yeah, and it gets deep because when the relationship is close, right, and the strife comes in, it digs really deep into those same closeness, right? And so the feeling of anger and resentment, hmm, and frustration, oh my goodness, and those things can pop off in all kinds of ways, right? Sadness, withdrawal, right? Breakdown in the communication, nope. And I'm telling you, man, the trust, you've eroded the trust that I have in you, and the respect. Strife can do all those things, can tear all of that down, all that you spent years and years and you built up and you think you're on straight street. One little thing, tear all of that down. Now, I don't know about you, but I want you to just, I'm just sharing what I've been like, I've been looking into, because there's so many things that we are faced with in this life, and some things that we don't want to talk about, but some things that we want to talk about. And we're not going to dwell, but we must be aware. We must be aware of them. We must be able to help others when we see them. We must be able to identify them and speak to them, especially if the impact is going to be a negative way. Now, you're not going to choose your battles, right? You're not going to fight every wars, but you got to be able to, if something comes to you, then you should be able to do it. I'm going to give you an example. I was on my way the other day and I stopped at this particular place and I was talking to this particular person. And I had no idea. I had no idea that this person was having such a hmm, um such a terrible time. And so, while I stood there and I listened and I listened and I listened, and the person poured out and poured out, and I was just like, ah, and so many things, but the strife was just terrible. And so I know, some things my mama would say, take, you some things you just gotta like take a seat. So I take a mental seat and just listen, because a lot of times folks just want you to listen. They want to have a place or a person that they trust to speak with, that to vent, to get it off their chest, because it bottles up and they just want to talk. And sometimes all you do is give a listen here. Now you don't even have to give no advice. They ask you for no advice. They ask you to listen, to hear what they're going through. Now you can, you know, have a little conversation. And if it is within your scope, then you can make suggestion if that's something you can handle, or you refer the person to some place where they can get help. But sometimes they just want to talk, not that they don't know how to handle it. They just want to find somebody that understand and kind of relate, can feel their pain. They want to express, because sometimes they just let it out, and that alone let them feel better. Yeah. So I just stood up and was, we talk about emotional listening. That was one of that. Emotional listening. Listen with your heart. Yeah. There's a lot of folks just want somebody to listen to what they have to say. So if you just look around in your community, look around in your circles, we got people who, but you've got to be able to discern and understand when, sometimes people don't have to, they just have a look. They just, you can see it, you can feel it. But, you know, um, just be cognizant that a lot of folks out there that need somebody to just talk to, just want somebody to listen. So it brings on a lot of sadness, right? And the trust and the respect. And there's a lot of times there's breakdown in communication, because when people, and this person said to me, he said, I'm at my limit. He said, I'm at my limit. I'm done. And it's like, when you pull the rubber band and it stretches, you can't go any further. That's like enough, enough bandwidth that you can stretch. But yeah, so how do you help that person? You how do you help that person to kind of easy to get some flexibility so they have room to work? Because when they're stiff out here, huh, you gotta help the person to kind of bring back that rubber band to some form of flexibility so they can get room to work. Because when it's stiff like this, ain't no room to work. Just stiff, nothing, it's gonna pop. Right. So it is very important to know that conflicts, yeah, as I said earlier on, the conflicts can be positive, but conflicts can be very negative. And it is one of the main parts of in the relationship, that if we don't handle it well, it brings down, it's just cause a lot of strife. And so we must have greater understanding and empathy in the relationship, understanding, and as I said, listen with your heart, because a lot of times, um before one sentence is finished, you gotta, the quick to rebut, that kind of stuff in an argument, and nobody's listening, everybody just going off, right? So we've got to, as individuals, we've got to temper it down. Remember, now I'm just giving suggestions that can help so that we can have a conversation and listen constructively. See, all of this takes a lot of strength, right? And so, but if we don't do that, how we won't get that strife under control. And I know that I've talked to a lot of folks, married folks, in folks who are in relationship, and this strife has caused a lot of breakups. Because we not nobody wants to listen to, everybody want to go off on their tangent. No, 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 it's my way or the highway. I don't know. I'm gonna let you decide, okay? But how do we resolve strife? It kind of ways, some little suggestions I'm gonna give. So communication is a big piece, communication. And I don't think we speak about that enough, communication, because, the communication, it goes two ways, right? Goes two ways, not just one way. And we know, so we got to build it up and so that is a part of, you remember when they were dating. It was all good, we listened and so, but the minute we got into that place together called marriage, now we stop listening, because now we in here, and yeah, so that's why we have all these counselors, and the marriage counselors, the relationship counselors, the psychologists and the psychiatrists, and all those people now have to come in to help us to repair all the damages that we have created on ourselves, right? So effective communication. And what is that? You got to listen, willingness to listen and understand what the other person's perspective. It says understand. It didn't say you have to agree. But it's to listen and understand because everybody is an individual and have their own opinion. Listen and understand where that person is coming from. So now they can listen and understand where you're coming from. Then we try to find common grounds, right? But what if we can't find common grounds? We can agree to disagree. Am I saying it right? Or disagree to agree? Whatever it is. You see where I'm going? Yeah. But yeah, because eventually it can work. If we, okay, I agree with you or I disagree with you, but I'm gonna work with you. And so agree to disagree or disagree to agree, whatever that one is. It's where I'm going because all of us are different, a different mindset, coming from a different orientation and so on and so forth, different backgrounds. So we come to the table, all the different things, but that doesn't say that your thing is incorrect, whether the person is correct. Gotta listen. Let's see where we're coming from with that. Let's see where we're coming from. Let's see how they can actually work together. Some of this, some of that, and make a new one for yourself. Make that thing. So the effective communication is huge. And I don't know that part is really strong these days. The willingness to listen and to understand the person's perspective. Know where the person is coming from. Wait until the person finishes speaks and listen. So listening takes gotta come. You gotta listen to the entire sentence, whatever the verbiage is. Listen, and so you can understand, right? Try and see where the person comes from. We've got to find the problem. So we got to peel the onion back, ask the questions, got to find where this coming from because everything has a little root. Yeah, find. We gotta dig and find what is the problem. Oh, I'm having a problem. Okay, what is the problem? We gotta find out what is it that is hurting, what is causing the pain, what is causing the strife, what is causing the argument, what is causing the misunderstanding. So we've got to ask questions of each other. And a lot of folks don't like to answer questions. Now, that's another thing you got to deal with. A lot of people don't like you ask them questions because they're right. Huh? So we got to find solutions to problems. That's why just like with everything else, we try to find solution. We in business, we trying to find solution for a problem. We go on Google, we trying to find solutions, how to do this, how to do that. We trying to find solutions. What about our own, the lives and how we're living? Why aren't we, for some people some people are doing a fabulous job, but some people are not trying to find solution to the problems that they're having. And it's eating them up. It is tearing down their own personal. And you don't have to be in a relationship. It could be on the job. Yeah. And it's tearing you down and you're living with that. And it's just like making you angry, depressed, and full anxiety and all that is coming on. So gotta deal with that, right? So doesn't matter your perspective. Everybody has their own perspective. But let's find a little solution. Let's find out what the problem is and let's come up with a way how we're gonna solve the problem, right? And so where it's just not a one side of one side of the scissors is two. It's the two sides. The scissors goes like this, two sides. There's one side can do that. Gotta do it because it goes like this, right? And so we have to have something we call the willingness. You know, when somebody say, "Oh, I don't want to hear," and gone. What you gonna do? Gotta figure it out, right? Oh, I'm not talking. Oh, I'm not talking about that. Oh, I'm done. I'm done talking. Did you hear what I say? And they're gone. People must have. We gotta have the willingness. Oh my God, I've had so many experiences in my own personal life. The willingness to listen. But I've got, as you grow and you evolve and as you become matured and as you learn some things, you got to do things differently, right? So strife, we're talking about strife. We've got to have the willingness to take responsibility for our own actions. And behaviors. No, that's a big one. How many of us, how many of us like to take responsibility for our own actions, our own behaviors? Huh? How many of us will say, you know what? That was me. I own it. Yep. I did it. I'm own it for my own action. Yes, I said it, and behavior. That's huge, my friends. If nobody wants to take if if we don't want to take responsibility for our own actions, our own behavior, how are you going to talk to the other person about their stuff? Kind of, it's kind of a little oxymoron right there, right? Yeah. So we always say we lead by example, right? If you're leaders or in your home, if you're, the adults, we've got to set the example. Because if we are not willing, huh? If we're not willing to take responsibility for our own actions, because remember, the only person you can control is you. I can only control me and the things that I can deal with me. Anything external of me is not necessarily under my control. But me, yeah, my thoughts, my emotions, my will, I got to take control of those, and so do you, right? So if it's over there, if it's John and Tom and Harry and Megan, no, you can't control those, right? You can't control those. You can only control what you can control, and that's you. Remember that. So we got to make a commitment to ourselves to let the change starts with us. Let the change start with us. If we are faced with a situation, or in the environment or whatever, the change got to begin with us, you. So you got to deal with you first. You got to ask yourself the questions. You got to answer some of the, answer these questions. So you got to get yourself together first before you can even start a communication. You can't go into the communication fussing and quarreling and swearing and whatever. So we've got to temper it down, the attitude part and all of that. All that, when we have those things and they started to come out, we got to put them back in a little box and deal with them before, yeah, because so we can only control us. We can only deal with us. But we got that thing out there called the strife between us, right? Me and you. So deal with you before you can deal with that out there. So all of this agreement, and it's always two sides. But the side that you can control, it's you, right? And so when we make positive changes, so whatever it is, gotta make some positive changes and think positive about what's going on, and how maybe get help, the resources that are available. Maybe some of us read and some of us pick up the phone and call, and whatever it is, we get insights, we get an understanding, and we take care of ourselves first, in the midst of all of this strife, before you can handle it, because you got to get it out, you, right? So taking responsibility is huge. I'm going to end with that one. Taking the responsibility will also give you an opportunity to take care of yourself, because you're probably, we need to focus on ourselves, the self-care, self-awareness, and drop off the self-doubt and all the fears and so on and so. So taking care of self is so important. And if we have not been like focusing on ourselves, and nothing is wrong with that, nothing is wrong with taking care of yourself. It's not being selfish. It's being self-aware that our frame and our minds and abilities to think requires time to address those parts, to those things, so you can actually think clearly, have good health, physical fitness and mental clarity and all of that good stuff, and you're able now to deal with stuff. All right, so I think I bore you enough. Yeah, I'm on my 29, 30 minutes mark. So strife, my friends, don't let it build up. Don't let it build up. Seen a lot of that. Don't let it build up. It's not good. So we got to find a way now to work it out. Begins with us, begins with the individual, begins with you. Attitudes, willingness to take responsibility to for our actions and our behaviors. Taking watching that little thing called the attitude, yeah. Knock off some of that and then do whatever we need to do to keep that under control. Then we can have a communication. Because the communication is the key, period. Key to helping us deal with strife. I hope I didn't bore anybody. I hope I didn't get myself in any weeds. This is not my terrain, but I've read quite a lot and I've seen quite a lot and I just know that if I can just help one person with this with some of the things that I've said, then I am okay. All right, I'm here to help, make an impact to help people live better lives and that's what I'm here to do. So that's your life for today. I hope to see you next week sometime. Remember to take care of yourself, do the best for yourself, for your family, and those around you, and, leave an impact to help someone. There's a lot of folks out there that need help, my friends. Let each one reach one, teach one, right? Help somebody and take care of yourself. And I will see you next week. Well, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but I know I'll be talking about something. All right. No more strife. Got that. Okay. It's not good. Take care. Bye bye. Hi, Sister Gracie. Take care of yourself.